Does a work-life balance exist? Well, my answer to that question is yes. And here are some tips that can help you. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. I am Shaneil and today we're going to talk about work-life balance. When you become an adult, you are expected to get a job, and a lot of the times we get so entangled in our professions that we tend to neglect ourselves and our family. But what is work-life balance? Work-life balance, by definition, is the division of your time and your focus between your professional life and your personal life. And your personal life includes family life, leisure activities, and self-care. Well, here are some tips that helped me in figuring out how to balance life and work. Tip number 1: learn to set boundaries in the workplace. For example, do not interrupt me while I'm having my lunch unless it is urgent. A lot of the times, because someone slacks up on their part, they want to come and interrupt you midway. No, allow me to finish my lunch and I will get to you immediately after. Sometimes what they consider as urgent is really not urgent. It can wait a little. It can wait 10 minutes. Set a cutoff time where you can focus on yourself and your family. I had a coworker that would only call me after 5, and I just could not understand why. Or what really happened was this person was doing their personal business during work hours, and when they got to their job, they were so behind time and wanted to include me in that. So they called me at 5. So that person's work day actually started at 5 while I was going home to rest for the next day. And I had to actually stop this person and say, hey, please call me between 8 and 5. That is when I am scheduled to work, 8 and 5. Because a lot of the times what this person would have done to me is at 5 o'clock they would call me while I'm on my way home to say, hey, this is urgent, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, can you send me an email reminding me to do that? As a matter of fact, I do not action things unless I have an email. If it was so urgent, why did it take this person 2 days to send the email? Don't you see something wrong with that? But you would have stopped what you are doing, drop what you're doing, pull over on the side of the road, pull out your laptop, and try to get this work done, when really and truly it wasn't that urgent. Tip number 2: learn to listen to your body and know when to take a break. You can't just be going. You need to take a break. You need to stop and eat, get something to eat, ensure that your blood sugar is okay. If you wear glasses, you know that opticians always say you are to look away from the screens. Not because you're looking away from your laptop means you're going to look at your phone. You're still looking at a screen. So take some time, get a walk in. If it's a case where you need to walk to the lobby, walk to the lobby, come back, take the elevator to the lobby, go outside, get some fresh air, and come back in. Why this is so important is because sometimes our body needs a reset. Just needs some time to pause and refocus again so that we can be optimal in our jobs, of course. And the reality is, if you don't take the break voluntarily, your body's gonna take that break, and that is how we get sick. So please, let us learn to listen to our bodies and take breaks when necessary. Tip number 3: determine what you like to do outside of your profession. Yes, you are a makeup artist, for example. But what do you like to do other than makeup? Do you like to go on adventures? Do you like to read? Do you like to watch series with your friends and family? Do you know what your kids are into? Do you know what your family members like? How well do you know your family members in this season that they're in right now? Understand your life outside of what you do for a career. Tip number 4: evaluate how well you are taking care of yourself. Are you taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? Are you? Physically, when was the last time you got a checkup? When last did you go to the dentist? When last did you exercise? Are you eating properly? Are you overeating? Are you not eating as you should? These are questions that you need to ask yourself, and it may be because you're so consumed in your profession that you are neglecting yourself. Are you neglecting yourself spiritually? When was the last time you talked to God? How is your relationship with Daddy Jesus? How is your relationship with Daddy Jesus? When last you read the Bible? When last have you prayed? You stop go church? When last you go church? When last have you listened to an online sermon or joined an online service? Are you taking care of your spiritual life? Are you neglecting yourself emotionally? Are you happy? Are you happy where you are right now? Or you're just wearing a mask or a facade on social media to make it seem that you are happy in your season right now? How are you doing? Like, really, how are you doing? How are you mentally? Are you burnt out, demotivated, anxious, depressed? You need to stop and do a mental check-in on yourself. Tip number 5, practice time management. Now, a lot of us are working to the wee hours of the night because we're not managing ourselves properly. Not everything needs to be a meeting. Some things could be an email. Hint, hint for some managers. Some things could be a Teams message. Some things could have been a conversation at the desk or a 5-minute phone call. We don't have to set aside a meeting for everything, because a lot of the times meetings prevent us or reduce our productivity. Because if we're in meetings all day, when do we find the time to actually do the work that we are paid to do? Take some time at the start of your day to list out the things that you need to do and tick them off one by one as you do that. Also, prioritize them. Which one is most important? Which one is urgent? If you want to use which one is due first as how you prioritize, do so. But take your time to prioritize your tasks for the day so that you are getting things done. I do know that sometimes we list out what we want to do and we don't end up doing them. Carry them over to the next day. You may have to put in an extra hour or two when you get home. Budget out that time as well, but do not neglect your personal life and your family every single day because of your poor time management skills. Tip number 6, be intentional with your time. If you're out with your friends and your family, your loved ones, give them your undivided attention, because life is short and we want to ensure that we have spent quality time with our loved ones and they know that we care about them. So be intentional with your time. If you are focusing on school right now, set aside a time for school versus work, and also set aside time for yourself. Not just, oh, I'm going to do my hair and my nails. Set aside some time for yourself. Set aside time for yourself to do something fun. Tip number 7, time off is time off. Vacation is vacation. It's not a workcation. It's a vacation. Take this time as a break from work. I do know that this may not be applicable to all persons depending on your profession, where you are in your career. You may not be able to completely cut off from the office during your vacation, but be intentional with your time on your vacation. When you realize that you are straying towards work, catch yourself a little bit and say, hey, Shaneil, I'm on vacation. Let me rest. My team members are more than capable of taking care of my task while I am on vacation. Sometimes some of us are just too controlling. Tell the truth. You know I'm right. Some of us are probably just too controlling, so we're not able to even enjoy our vacations because we don't know if John can do the data analysis like I can. We don't know. So we try to do it ourselves on vacation. But I'd say do take your vacation, take your time off, and as a break from work. Tip number 8: assess whether or not you love your current profession and where you actually work. A lot of the times where we work, because we're in a toxic environment, we're not able to truly have a work-life balance. Now, I'm going to say to you that this may be your sign to start looking outside of your organization, and do not let fear hold you back from stepping into a better work environment, or even into a better position that may pay you even more than what you are getting now. So if you are in a toxic work environment, it's time to think about how to exit stage left. Let us stop normalizing toxic work environments. We thrive better in healthy environments. We are more productive in healthy environments. When we have a balanced life, we are more productive. Tip number 9: understand the season that you are in right now and try to balance your life accordingly. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 says, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." So if you are going to school and working, you need to balance life that way. When I was going to school and working, I had to really be strict on when my work time ended and when I needed to focus on my schoolwork. And that for sure helps me to do good in school and still not drop the ball at work. There are times I can tell you that I had to focus on school during this time frame, but after I focused on school, I had to go back and do some work. So you do have to just understand the season that you're in right now and just navigate it accordingly. I hope these tips were helpful and you will now be able to have a work-life balance. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you found it helpful. Do share it with someone who you think would find these tips helpful, or they really need to watch this video. Leave a comment. Let me know, how is your work-life balance going? Is your life balance, or are you more on the overworked side, less on the life side, or you're living it up but you're not doing the people work? Do enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next week for another video as we learn to navigate life together.